Hey Virgo, it's me here with your Virgo and Cancer season reading. Um, I have been away. I do apologize. Um, I have a couple new things. One of them being that of course, I changed the name on this channel to I Am a Witch with an X for WXTCH. Um, Also, I have an Instagram by the same name that I have been working on. So if you want more kind of daily content, then that's what I would look at. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into your reading. Man, it's even like as I start doing this reading for you guys, I feel really heavy, like really, really heavy. And I think because I feel like in this next season, a lot of what's going to be happening is not necessarily external. I feel like there's going to be a lot of internal things happening. And this term I saw is like looking at the out of the side view mirror. I see that there are quite a few things behind you, perhaps in the past, and I feel like there's going to be a lot of focus on the stuff that maybe you could have done differently, you could have done better. I feel like you guys are at a time right now where there's a transitionary period happening, and it's not necessarily the death and resurrection part just yet. I mean, I guess this is part of it, but I feel like you guys are more so in a place of like maybe even feeling somewhat regretful as to how things have sort of gone down in the last maybe 3 to 4 years, not even just like in the last, short period of time, in the last 3 or 4 years, kind of looking back and saying, like, man, I really had my head in the wrong places. So I'm going to go ahead and shuffle these cards and I'm going to show you what we have going on. All right, give me a moment. Okay, so here's our cards here. We have defeat, we have the priestess, peace in reverse, pleasure in reverse, illusion, and the witch of flames. So let's go ahead and talk about it. All right, so with the defeat card, this is that melancholy energy I think I was talking about. That's sort of like you guys have sort of been in a place where things haven't necessarily like they've worked, but just kind of barely, and you haven't exactly gotten all the results that you've desired and wanted. The priestess card, I believe that's you guys. It could be priest or priestess, but I feel like the priestess card rather, indicates that you guys are. I mean, this is just who you are in general. You guys are used to kind of being able to run the order of the crowd. You know, you guys are used to being able to make things function and make things work. But just because you make things work doesn't necessarily mean that you're happy with the results. We have the peace card in reverse. So you guys have had a lot of victory without a lot of peace. And you're not exactly sure where you stand because you're kind of thinking to yourself, like, man, well, there's something missing in my manifestations. There's some element that's missing, and I'm not quite sure with my finger on it. And this is what you're going to be thinking about more cancer, like this in this cancer season. You guys are really in your head and really in your emotions. Um, the pleasure card in reverse says to me that you guys are also in a space of like, although you're not at peace with with where your life is, you also don't really know how to find pleasure anymore. Like everything's become really routine. You're not really as excited as you used to be. You're not really as passionate as you used to be. You really don't know the things that makes you happy anymore, makes you or pleases you anymore. Even maybe when it comes to people, friends, relationships, even maybe in your relationship, things become just a little bit too routine in a way of which, like, you're an earth sign, so it's not like you're going to move really fast to try to shake things up. But on some ways, you might be kind of like in the background thinking about ways to shake things up. And be careful because when you get to this point of being bored where you want to shake things up, you might end up making some decisions kind of behind people's back that isn't necessarily wise per se if you want to keep the life that you want. But at the same time, maybe you don't. And maybe that's something that also needs to be addressed as well because we have the illusion card here. And this is kind of like we're in a brand new phase, a brand new time, brand new age. What is it that you really want? And is the things that you've been quote unquote, the things that you've been quote unquote desiring in the last few years, have those just been things that you have desired for the sake of structure and social context? You know, the people that you've been with, has it only been just for social context and not because you actually passionately or want to be with these people? You know, these are things that you probably want to look at. By looking at those things, we have the Witch of Flames. And so some energy is going to come into your life that's going to renew or respark that thing within you that has been missing for a really long time. And that's going to be something that's going to be really hard to tear yourself away from, because the rest of this has just kind of looked very bland. It's been like a world in Technicolor. And so this person's going to bring a lot of color in your life. If you kind of look at the colors here, although you have several colors in the defeat card, you know, which is a very complicated mix in its own right. Everything else kind of has its own little, like, there's a blandedness to them, but you have the Witch of Flames, which is very, very bright. And so then bottom of the deck we have the Lost in Reverse card. So this energy, as chaotic as it's going to seem when it first comes in, and this is going to be more towards Leo season. As chaotic as this energy is going to seem once it comes in, this is going to give you a lot of clarity about your life. So don't be afraid of it. Okay? Anyway, I hope this reading was helpful, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.